Okay. Right. Apologies for not being around for a while. I've been changing jobs and lots of hard work at the house. Been redecorating the whole house, so it's meant that when I have been down at the plot, I haven't really had time to record anything. Particularly with the shortening days, it's been difficult to find the time. So apologies. I thought I'd give you a bit of a tour, but starting from the opposite end, this end. So the water butt for this one, the IBC, is in situ for the pumping mechanism. I still haven't sorted that out. I will do that over winter. Fit the solar panel, link it to the battery, and get the pumps installed ready for the watering. As you can see, this sort of section next to it, which never really had a plan for anything anyway, apart from the fact that it quite often sits my tubs, my trugs for potatoes, but other than that it doesn't do a lot, is full of weeds. Not really bothered. That's probably one of the last jobs on my list to deal with, because it doesn't really affect anything. As you can see, I do have a new plot neighbour, but he's not mowed that central section for some reason, so it looks like at some point over the winter I'll have to get that cut flat down. No idea why. That's all part of his plot, but hey. Right, potatoes. As you can see, you've had a couple of frosts and it's knocked them flat, which is great. I was waiting for that. These are Sarpo Miras. They've had about 17 and a bit weeks. So I'm hoping to get a decent haul. There were 2 small beds at home, which I've now emptied. And I got about 25 kilos. Is it 25 kilos? No, probably less than that. It's a large 27 litre trug and a half. But yeah, a decent haul for effectively a second cropping. I'm expecting sort of 2 to 3 trugs. If you've seen any of my previous potato harvesting videos, you've seen the trugs I use. Yeah, so that probably won't be done till next weekend now. Again, because I just can't get up here. You know, it's dark so early. I just don't have the time or the ability. Right, inside the polytunnel, the peppers are giving up now. Finally, the cucumbers, as you can see down the end, still got 1 or 2. I stopped harvesting them because, quite frankly, we were sick of them. The amount of peppers I've had this year has just been ridiculous. Again, next weekend I'll be up and I'll take any fruit that are still viable. If they need ripening, they'll go in a shoebox along with the tomatoes. If they don't, they don't. That's great. Over this side, skeletal remains after blight, which is fine. I knew it had got in here, so it's no biggie. Again, finding time, because it doesn't require me to get anything out. I'm not going to use this bed until probably next May. You can just sit where it is for the time being. I will take it all down, clip it all back, and refresh the beds at some point between now and then, but not right away. I've not planned to use this over winter. No, I could. I do have my greenhouse heater, the gas one, but I've no intention of it. The grapevine's gone up and over this year, which I'm very happy about. Interesting to see what happens next year. With that, I'm hoping it'll get to a stage where it's crossing over and I can take leaders and thread them that way. But yeah, polytunnel's sort of putting itself to bed for winter. So yeah, not unexpected. Lots of grass. One of my favourite points about winter is that I can keep up with the weeds. So the hope is to be able to get everything fully weeded, get lots of wood chip down in the spring to cover everything, to help to suppress it as a mulch over the weed proof. And just make my life next year in terms of managing stuff a bit easier. Here is a bed full of brassicas. I was late with my brassica sowings, so I actually bought these. I used a family-run firm called Cornish Cabbages. As you can see, they are a bit leggy, but this is pretty much the size they came, so they're pretty huge, you know. They're field grown, a small family business, so I like to support entities like that. various in here. I think we've got cabbages of a couple of types. I've got Romanescos, I've got some Calabrese, a bit of everything in there. I will get in, and I put these in about 2 weeks ago. I will get in and weed. I didn't weed the bed before I actually put the plants in because I was in a hurry, so I will go over and weed all of those. On this side, I took all of the tomatoes off. I stripped the tomatoes just before the frost. We knew it was coming, so I stripped everything off. So my aim today will be to take the canes out, take the tomato plants out, and give this bed a good weed. Obviously the celeriac staying in. As you can see, the borlottis are done. Again, I stripped the borlottis, but you see my poor arch is just, the wind absolutely decimated it. I've temporarily screwed that pallet in. Now the weight has come off of it. I'm going to cut these at the base and take the strands off. I'm going to get some bracing in and heavily brace the top sections to bring it straight and prevent that happening again. Didn't really affect the crop. It just made it my life in terms of harvesting a million times harder. Yeah, it is what it is. Same thing over this side for the White Lady runners. They're still drying. The borlottis finished a lot earlier than the White Ladies, so White Ladies, I don't know how much I'm going to get as a reasonable crop, so we'll see. Again, it's got celeriac in the bottom and the tomatoes need to come out. We've also got quite a lot of the debris. So now we've had the frost. I've taken something in the order of 24 or 25 butternuts in addition to the 16 I took. Again, whatever I could find amongst the foliage. Now it's been killed off. The aim will be to empty this bed of all of this matter, take out the sweet corn stalks and everything, and just basically clear it up and prepare it, tidy it up for winter. This one it's got onions in, which will be very early finishing spring onions, I suspect. These were just normal bulbing onions that didn't quite have enough time, so I'm sure they'll finish next year. Just needs a bloody good weed. At the end of this, we've got some more of those brassicas. Something's had a nibble down this side. There's purple sprouting broccoli, some more calabrese, a bit of everything in here. Over here we have my brassica bed. One of my big kales, you can see, has pretty much had it. It's huge, it needs staking up. I'm probably going to get myself a big stake and deal with that. Yeah, otherwise it's pretty good. I mean, got some mildew on the lower leaves for certain ones, which I'll probably have to take care of by just removing them, snapping them off. You can see here, got some Brussels on there coming along. First of lots of cabbages. We haven't really started to eat our way through the cabbages again. More kale on the end. This fantastic Romanesco. Probably can't see, but that's my hand. It's huge. I'll be taking that today. In here we have a glorious purple collie. Not quite ready yet. Another Romanesco. I'll give that another few days, maybe until next weekend before I take that. Again, some more of the brassica. I basically shoved them in wherever I can. This I was saving because it was so wonderful, but it looks like the pigeons have found it now, so that will have to go and be processed fairly quickly, cutting out bits that they've munched. This one is still under cover, and I have got all sorts in here. Cauliflowers, there's some perennial kale here. That's a gift from Liz. We've got more collies in there. Red cabbage, not quite ready. Some teeny tiny purple broccolis. I have started to take these off, but I mean, we've got some of these sort of smaller ones that have come too soon, and the ones that I've left too long. And you know, to be honest, I have so much cauliflower this year and broccoli calabrese. I just don't know what to do with it. Another massive cabbage. Some more here. It's going to be a nice Savoy over the winter there. Loads of them, absolutely loads of them. Oh, and we have another purple collie in the middle. This bed, these will probably be better later in the season. We've got some Savoy heads there. More kale, I think. Yeah, more kale. I think we've got plenty of kale. Teeny tiny herd of collie in here again. More cabbage. I don't think we're going to be short of cabbage for the foreseeable future. Yeah, more cabbage. This is the terrible state of my fruit cage. That will take several Saturdays of time to resolve all of that. I'm going to have to get in there, cut it right to the ground, weed completely, and just keep halt on top of it next year. As you can see, rhubarb beds, again massively weedy, but the rhubarb's died down for the year, so the crowns have gone dormant. My terrible stockpile of wood. Then we come to the other plots. As you can see, I've now got a third composter because I'm going through it, and again I need to get rid of that bramble around the base of the plum tree. Right, give me 2 seconds and we'll catch on with the next one. Okay, and the front one, which is the one I've mostly been working on. I've got some carrots here, few carrots which you'll see me overwinter. I've got some jars, but that'll do. Carrot seeds I put in September have all come up, so that'll be spring carrots now. That won't do a lot until then. My parsnips are sort of half dying back, but some decent roots in there. I pulled one this morning because I fancied a parsnip, and again in this bed that's lots of tiny baby weeds, but also lots of baby carrots, so I'll give that some time. This bed was going to be spinach. I've actually only got 3 surviving plants because when they did not survive being posted, frankly, they're a bit knackered. This bed and this bed, these are my shallots for next year. They're all mostly fired now, so they've come up quite nicely. This bed is celery. You can tell that frost has nipped the outsides, and I leave those in situ because the crowns, the hearts in the centre come back up, and the dead leaves provide sort of a blanket for them, particularly, which is why I grow them in a big clump like this, because they protect one another. That protection is also extended to the Vulcan Swiss chard, which is now of a size I can start harvesting. We don't eat a lot of chard, which is why I've only got one. And then we have 3 unmentionable beds, basically 3 beds full of weeds that need clearing out, weeding down and topping up. This one, I must have done an absolutely abysmal job of taking the onions out, because there are onions that have come back up from the sets I've obviously left in all over the place on this bed, so I'm going to have to be careful when weeding it, and probably that's basically going to turn into an unexpected onion bed. This was tomatoes interspersed into planted with celeriac. So you can see I've done what I intend to do down the other end of the plot here, and just taken the tomatoes out, give them a good weed and prepare it. Weedy bed of leeks again. Actually, these leeks are probably going to be the thing I'm going to focus on most next weekend, is to get all of my leek beds. I've got 2.5 leek beds weed free. This is a bed that I've effectively abandoned since last year, so this will just, if I can get 5 minutes I'll get to it, but if I can't I'm not going to worry because I don't need the space. Again, another tomato bed, slightly different configuration this time. But yeah, that one's all prepped and ready. At the back here you've got 3 strawberry beds, and I don't know if you can see, but just before the frost, we even had flowers and more fruit forming. Obviously, that's not going to survive now, so that's fine. The terribly weedy asparagus bed is going to be cut to the ground, fully weeded, topped up with a top dressing. And my aim next year really is, I was going to dig out the entire bed, but I really don't want to damage the asparagus roots of the crowns, so I'm just going to have to be vigilant and weed this twice a week or something, just to keep those weeds down. Raspberries have done reasonably well this year. I've had several kilos off, but they're pretty much finished now. So again, the same principle, they'll be cut down and bed weeded, topped up. The 3 strawberry beds, by the way, will be completely emptied of everything. All the walkways weeded, most of the runners discarded, and then it will be reset for next year. This bed is half a bed of leeks, again, which needs weeding, and a couple of spare celeriac that I had. And down this side, some spring onions that I never got round to pulling, so they've turned into white bulbing onions, so I'm just going to leave them in, quite honestly. This over here was the bean bed. That's been cleaned and topped up, but it's just gone back to rack and ruin because I haven't kept on top of it. Again, that will need a thorough digging over and weeding. Another bed of leeks, weedy leeks, seems to be the theme of today. And again, another abandoned bed. I am going to try a little project that Liz suggested when I talked to her about something with one of these beds, particularly one of the brassica plants. So I'll take the cage off and clean it out when I get 5 minutes and do that. These 2 beds are going to be my garlic beds. The garlic is currently in cell trays, so it has started, but I haven't put them into their final positions. This one prepped, it just needs a bit of a hoeing off to tidy up. That one needs a hoeing off and needs topping up. And then we get down to the 4 onion beds, Sunshu yellows, which are all doing nicely. The pots of spare asparagus crowns, I'll weed those as well.